Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Cuz You Don't Know Football. Listen, guys, we got another exciting episode here for you. I think I got my background blurred. I didn't mean to do that. Either way, guys, we got another exciting episode here for you. Another great week in the books. Got a new guy, not a new guy, somebody you already know. I like to keep that a secret. So we got another guy coming on. We're gonna talk about last week's games. We're gonna talk about this week's games, but more importantly, we're gonna talk about the teams. We're gonna talk about the teams that we thought was supposed to be good. That's not you. Everybody got that. It's not you. I had some teams that I thought was good that was supposed to be good too, and I don't know what to do with them either. But we're gonna figure out: is it too late? Should we flush it, or is it something that can happen that can save this season? So without further ado, we about to bring my boy on.
How we doing?
Cuz, what is the fuck is good, cuz? How you doing, Bernie?
Hey, living, man. I'm tired.
Yeah, man, me too, man. Just finished. I had to bartend an event. Now I had to come in straight and do this. So don't feel bad. I'm tired too. But I appreciate you as always coming on. We love having you on the show.
Of course.
So what's this job? This new job that you got? Is this something you can talk about? Because Malcolm. For those who don't know, we got a cousin named Malcolm. Malcolm, once he got into the military stuff, he had stuff, and I'd be like, Malcolm, what you doing? He'd be like, Yo, Rick, I can't talk to you about that. I feel like you be doing stuff you can't talk to me about. What you do, man? Man, he got
They
classified.
do.
So you got some classified stuff, or what's going on?
No. Just picked up a job at Express, basically just for the benefits.
Isn't
Since
that
I'm doing the
crazy?
work from home stuff, I'm doing the work from home stuff, and I'm making enough money, but it's like they ain't got no benefits.
Right. Yo, isn't that crazy? Yo, I swear, I've known people that work like in the government, and they'll get like a job at like Walmart because it'd be like Walmart had better benefits than like working for the government. It'd be like, what? I don't know. It is what it
Sad, I know.
is. So we're gonna jump right into it, and we're gonna just talk about the games from last week that we wanted to go over. We had an original list, but I had to rip that list off because some things happened, and I was like, I feel like we need to talk about this. You know what I'm saying? So, so let's get right into it. So let's start Chiefs and Chargers. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just read off the some of this quick stats of the game, and then I'll get your feedback on it. So so just so everyone knows, the Chiefs beat the Chargers 31-17. Justin Herbert was 17 and 30 for 259 yards, one touchdown and two picks. What the heck is Kelly? Joshua Kelly actually led them in rushing with seven carries for 75 yards and a touchdown. And Joshua Palmer actually led them in receiving. He actually had a big game. 5 receptions, 133 yards. And Gerald Everett was the only one with a touchdown. And then we had Pat. Pat had 32 for 42 for 424 yards, 4 touchdowns, and one pick. And he didn't have nothing on the ground. Pacheco was 13 carries for 32 yards. And Travis Kelce been doing stuff. I've been trying to refrain from talking about Taylor and everything. Travis Kelce has been turning up a little bit when now that Taylor Swift is there.
Listen, you remember how it was when your girl came and saw you play. You put a little razzle dazzle on.
I'm serious now. I'm serious. I'm done playing with y'all now. I'm done playing with you. I've got shit on you now. Unfortunately,
I'm about to put on a show.
I'm getting some after this, so y'all not gonna get in the middle of that. So she only get with winners. So
right, dubs only.
So Travis Kelce, 12 receptions, 179 yards, one touchdown. Valdez Scantling, he had 3 receptions for 84 yards and a touchdown. Rasheed, is it Rasheed or Rashi? I'll say Rasheed. Rasheed Rice, he had 5 receptions, 60 yards and a touchdown. And Isaiah Pacheco had 4 receptions for 28 yards and a touchdown. What do you unpack this game for me?
I mean, pretty straightforward. The Chiefs are them. I mean, other than game one, They have not allowed more than 20 points. They're
Are
6
the
and
Chiefs
0.
boring yet? Like, can I ask you a question? And I wanted you to get right back into it. Are the Chiefs like how the Patriots? It got to the point like I'm kind of like I want to root against. I want to pick something else just because like this has gotten boring now, and I need some excitement. Are they there? There are they there yet?
They've become predictable. They've become the standard. You know what I mean? They've won the AFC West, what, the last 6 years since Mahomes been there?
Yeah, he's never not won that division.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he's won the AFC title, what, 4 of the last 6 years? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
so
So
yeah, they've definitely become predictable. I mean, you have to look at it like this. NFL, you had the Patriots, 20 years of dominance.
mhm,
College, you had Bama, 15, 16, 17 years of dominance.
mhm.
Right now, NFL, you got the Chiefs. Last 3, 4 years running the game.
Six.
Obviously, 6 years. College, my dogs down in Georgia. You know what I mean? Back to back champs, working on another one.
I see what you did there. I see what you did there. You just want
You
to
know
talk
what I'm
about
saying?
Georgia real quick. Give them
Listen,
a little, platform real quick. I understand. I'm not mad at you, cuz go ahead, do your thing.
they everywhere, but anywho,
I
but yes,
did the same thing.
they have come predictable. They have become
Yeah.
what you expect. Like I said, their defense is a top two, top three defense. Like I said, other than the first game where they gave up 21 points and lost, they have not given up more than 20 points in the last 6 wins.
Mm-hmm.
It's been 20 points, 19 points, 17 points. And they're not blowing anybody out. That's the thing, though. Years past, they're putting up 30, 40, blowing people out. You know what I mean? Right now, they're just winning, but that defense is just dominant. That front seven with Chris Jones is
What is going? Like,
nasty.
hold on. I'm still adjusting to the Chiefs' defense being like because it's not names on it that you're like, oh, these are household names. I know Chris Jones. Chris Jones, we got that.
That's it.
We got it.
That's
But
it.
this is like the biggest no name defense that we've seen maybe ever. Because I think about the Patriots and stuff like that, but they had names in retrospect.
You have names. You had Bill
In
Fork. You had
retrospect, the Patriots
Brewski.
had
You
names.
had
They like, and so like this actually, listen, I'm starting to get to the point where I'm looking at the Chiefs this year and saying, is this the greatest team of all time?
with the way Mahomes plays, you have your ultimate receiver in Travis Kelce. You have speed all around you, and then you have a defense that's not giving up more than 20 points in a game.
A game. This is crazy.
You can beat anybody with 3 touchdowns. Pat Mahomes can get you 3 touchdowns.
Easy. I don't need like these wide receivers. All I gotta get is 3 touchdowns. That's it. Shit.
Andy Reid calling the plays. So yeah, they've become predictable. And as far as on the flip side, the Chargers, sadly, they're in their division. You know what I mean? I like Justin Herbert. Like I told you when we had this conversation weeks ago. I think he's a great quarterback, but this is not enough pieces. I don't know what it is. You know what I mean? Like
we're gonna get
obviously
it.
the secondaries.
We know we're gonna get back into the Chargers in the second segment. So
Okay, yeah. So we can get back to them later, but like they're just in the same division as the Chiefs. So it's like you're fighting for second place at best, man. So
but it's such a distant. It feels so distant of a second. Like when, like even when it's
it's a
like,
gap. It's a big gap.
but like in the moment, like it's like, all right, this can't be as big as it looks to be, and then it's like, no, they like run away with like a division where we look at it and say, like the division last year, we looked at it and said that might be the greatest division of all time. So and
Solid
they run
division.
away with it, and they run away with it. So that's crazy. That's crazy. I'm not even gonna lie to you. All right. All right, let's get to the next game. Good stuff on that one. All right, how should I go? All right, now we'll go Dolphins Eagles on there. We'll put your Eagles in this one. So Philadelphia
Them
Eagles.
Kelly Greens.
It's something about
They
them.
bust they busted out them Kelly Greens, man.
Bring them out more often. So the Philadelphia Eagles beat the Miami Dolphins 31-17. Let's get to some stats. Tua was 23 or 32 for 216 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Uh, Raheem Mostert had 9 carries for 45 yards. Tyreek Hill had 11 receptions for 88 yards and a touchdown. And Jalen Waddle had 6 receptions for 63 yards. And then getting over the Eagles, Jalen Hurts was 23 or 31 for 279, 2 touchdowns and a pick. DeAndre Swift, 15 carries, 62 yards. And Hurts and Kenneth Gainwell actually had the touchdowns. And AJ Brown had 10 receptions for 137 yards and a touchdown. And Dallas Goedert also had 5 receptions for 77 yards and a touchdown. Talk to me about your birds, man. I know you want to come on here and
Listen,
talk.
Jalen has to get back to last year. I'm not sure what it is. He just seems a little off this year. But the weapons that Howie Roseman has put around him, offensively and especially defensively, he can afford 2 picks and they still win by 14 points.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that is a well-built team.
It's got to take you serious.
Absolutely, because you're not running the ball. That run defense is disgusting. They have great on the back end. They just went and got Kevin Byard from the Titans.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like Howie Roseman's on a tear. I don't know. Listen, I don't know what Howie Roseman's doing. He's signing every key piece you can need because they probably have right now one of the better wide receiver cores now.
Mm-hmm.
You can't leave nobody open. Who you gonna leave open?
Yeah, like you gonna leave Julio.
Who you single covering?
Yeah, you gonna put Julio Jones. You gonna cover Julio Jones with your number 4 corner and say I'm happy.
Right, exactly. Because he's still Julio. I get it. He done fell off the last 2-3 years. He's still Julio. He's still 6'4", 240. And if you put him in the slot, that's a first down every time. Mm-hmm. I need 4 or 5 yards. First down.
Right. No, that's valid. That's valid. So I got 2 takeaways from this. My first takeaway is from the Dolphins standpoint, my takeaway is they can be beat, and I think people went too far on how good that they said that they are. The Dolphins have to play a certain style to win. And any team that can disrupt that style and has a quarterback that can outplay Tua, I think that they have a very good opportunity to beat the Miami Dolphins. Secondly, when I look at the Eagles, the only thing like what I'm about to say is I don't think the Eagles are going to the Super Bowl this year. The only reason I'm saying that, and next year, I think that's a whole nother conversation. The reason I'm saying is this year, I don't think people gave credence to the fact that the Eagles lost their offensive and defensive coordinator all in the same year. Like culturally, like that changes everything. And they did it on both sides of the ball. So when you say Jalen Hurts, he's got to get back, and I know exactly why his numbers are down, because he's in a new culture.
Yeah.
He's in a new culture. He's got to figure out this. You know what I mean? Where he was comfortable in that, and that is going. Now he's got to get comfortable in this. And we got to see how comfortable, if he is comfortable in this, but he got to do it. You know what I mean?
I agree with the offensive side because, let's be honest, quarterbacks are kind of divas. Everything has to kind of be right for them to be clicking. It's gotta be, you know what I mean?
Here, go.
Right. On the flip side of it, I don't think the defense has really fallen off at all. If anything, the front seven has gotten better and more disruptive. But I feel like that's a habit of defense. I feel like if you have the studs, the Jimmies and the Joes on your defense, you can kind of bring in almost any coach. You know what I mean?
So I actually disagree with that. So the one thing that I've noticed about the Eagles this year is when you look at their cornerbacks, the cornerbacks are looked at to be a little bit less dominant than they were last year. And I call that in the system. Sometimes systems, like you go from a cover 3 to a cover 2 system, or from a cover 3 to a man-to-man system, or whatever it is. I do think this system is harder for the Eagles cornerbacks specifically to just showcase their attributes and their strengths on a play-to-play basis. That I actually have seen.
Yeah, the secondary needs to step up, but I think the dominance of that front seven masks a lot of the DBs.
100%.
Because if Jalen Carter, who, as we said, is probably defensive rookie of the year, is in your face 2 seconds after the snap, you're probably throwing a pick or you're getting a sack. So that's covering up a lot of the deficiencies that you're talking about. Because I don't disagree. It's why they went and got the safety from the Titans, is because the secondary hasn't been to that level
Absolutely.
that it was last year.
But that's what I'm saying. Like the culture is different, and that takes time to, to gel. And excuse me, it takes time to gel and put that together so that it is like, okay, I know exactly where I'm going to be. I know where he's going to be. This is we
Oh
can,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
but
So
you but losing is bad, but they're winning ugly, and that's how you keep learning. I mean, 6-1, they're right there with
right,
all the best records.
right,
If they keep winning, even if it's ugly, you keep learning. You know what I'm saying?
that's valid. That's valid. That's valid. Okay. All right, let's move on to the next game. Ravens put a beat down on the Lions. They put a whole beat down on the Detroit Lions. So let me get it. I'm just trying to find the look. They didn't even want me to find it. That's how bad it was. They said it's brutal.
Not that many stats.
So let's see. So Jared Goff. Oh wait, the score. The Ravens beat the Lions 38-6.
Mm.
Jared Goff was 33 of 53 for 284, 0 touchdowns and a pick. Gibbs led them in rushing with 11 carries for 68 yards and a touchdown. Amon St. Brown had 13 receptions for 102 yards. They didn't have any touchdowns in the air. Lamar Jackson was 21 and 27 for 357 yards, 3 touchdowns, and no pick. Whoo!
And he ran one in.
Gus Edwards, 14 carries for 64 yards and a touchdown. And Lamar had another another rushing touchdown. And Gus Edwards had one reception for 80 yards and led them in offense. And then Zay Flowers had 4 receptions for 75 yards, but then Mark Andrews had 3
He
yards.
had 2 tutties.
And then, and 2 touchdowns. And Nelson Aguilar had a touchdown. So, yeah, man, this is
I'll start on the easier side and just say the Lions are who we thought they were. I mean, they're still going to win the NFC North, but it's still Jared Goff. I mean, you can't tell me that when they basically swapped quarterbacks with the LA Rams and the very next year the Rams won it, Jared Goff couldn't have done what Matt Stafford did.
That's
You know
we
what I'm saying?
talk about that.
And it's, and Stafford's my boy. He went to Georgia. That's my boy. But like, you can't tell me that he couldn't have done what he did. Stafford didn't do anything amazing. He just had weapons and hit his weapons. But this is what Jared Goff does.
So
There's zero reason he should have 53 passes and no touchdowns. You have Jamar Gibbs, you have Jameis Williamson, you have Amon St. Brown. Like, you have weapons everywhere. And a defense with Aiden Hutchinson, who's not that bad. Like, Aiden Hutchinson's kind of a beast on the outside.
Oh no, he damn sure is a beast.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like there's zero reason. Again, they're 5-2 now, or 6-1, or you know what I mean. So they're still leading the division, and the rest of the teams in NFC North are trash, sadly. So I'm not concerned about them moving forward. They're going to be in the playoffs, but it's like Jared Goff is who we thought he was.
Okay, so let me go in on that real quick. Let me go in on that real quick. So I would agree. I do not want Jared Goff throwing the ball 53 times. That was not even in the summer when I said the Detroit Lions are going to the NFC Championship game. It was in the thought process that Jared Goff does not need to throw the ball 53 times. I don't think he's a carrier. I don't think he's somebody who.
No.
But he's also. I think he's. If you say a guy who's not supposed to mess up, I absolutely think if he's prepared to do so, he's a guy who's not going to mess up. And is he a guy that can make some plays that you need when the team needs you to, when it's like we don't know where to go to? Is he that kind of guy? I do think he's that kind of guy. But I will agree, I don't want him throwing the ball 53 times. With that said, if I'm gonna lose, I'm gonna be honest with you. If I'm going to lose, let me say it from a coach's standpoint. If I'm gonna lose, I want to lose bad, and I want it to be ugly, and I want questions to arise about who we are, because I want everything broken down. See, when you lose by 1 point or 2 points, you're like, well, look, we are pretty good.
we didn't get that first down in the
You
third
know what I mean? They're like, oh,
quarter.
well, we can kind of
It
sit on.
was
But when you get blown the fuck out and you look
throw the whole
terrible,
plan out.
look, even right now, we're having a conversation like, oh, we are who we thought they were the whole time. Like, I want this if I'm the Detroit Lions. For me, listen, Lamar Jackson, this is a stat. I can't think of the exact stat, but Lamar Jackson against teams that don't play him all the time, he looks amazing against those teams. The argument against Lamar Jackson is against the teams that actually play him, you know what I mean, all the time. Those teams,
the division foes, yeah.
Right. So Detroit Lions are a team that don't see the Ravens that often. So yeah, I this looks at. I thought that the Ravens would lose this game, but I think they got spanked by a team that they feel like. I think it puts a certain level of desperation in the Detroit Lions, and I actually think that they're going to bounce back. And I think the NFC. I'm not sure they're not going to win the NFC, will be number one seed in the NFC. And I think this would have something to do with it, this game, because it's a fire you got to have now. You got embarrassed. Yeah. They beat you. They beat you with a boat in front of everybody.
And then came back in the room. What was that?
Yeah, exactly. It sat down right next to you and said, you got something else you want to say?
Because to move from the Lions over to the Ravens, I think Todd Monken is exactly what they needed to expand their offense. Mm-hmm. Again, I hate to keep referencing it, but yes, Todd Monken took what he did with my dogs, took it to the NFL. It was like, oh, we have a top tier tight end. Let's use him a lot more. Let's let my quarterback do what he does, which is be mobile, because that's the biggest fear. He has an arm. People like to, he's a running back who can throw. No, Lamar Jackson's a great quarterback.
That's what lights you up.
But the fear is if you let him get out that pocket, he's gone.
And touchdowns and 6 incompletions all game. Come on, yo, stop.
That's what I'm saying. But that's that's what's so dangerous about him. That's not the biggest thing you're worried about. You're worried about him deciding, I'm going to take off for 50 yards and you're not even going to touch me. Right. You know what I mean? Like he was out there playing backyard football. Like, just every time he just
absolutely
30 yards, 20 yards, touchdown. Like he ran the ball in like it was nothing. Like
that's the argument for you paying Lamar Jackson that game right there.
Yeah. Because for me, with Monken as the offensive coordinator, with the way their defense is playing, because I think their defense is like number one in sacks, like top 3 tackles for losses. You know what I'm saying? Like they're getting after people.
That's right.
They're a dangerous AFC team. Mm-hmm. Anyone you want to put them up against right now, the way they're playing, like I said, if that offense comes out playing like that and that defense keeps performing, they're a dangerous AFC team, even for the Chiefs.
So once again, right there is my trepidation. So when we had the whole conversation about paying Lamar and all of that, you pay Lamar. I would pay Lamar. My trepidation is right what you just said, though. Against the teams that play him all the time, he's like, just like with Josh Allen in that weird way, Lamar got that weirdism against teams that are familiar with him.
Yeah.
So I don't think he's a threat for the Chiefs. I don't think the Ravens. Really? I do not think the Ravens are a threat for the Chiefs. I'm curious to see, like if it was like the Ravens Bills in the playoffs, I would watch that game all day and I would love every second of it. But like, you know what I mean? If he was playing a team that doesn't really see him all the time, that'd be one thing. But like, yeah, like I don't think he wants to see the Bengals in the playoffs. If the Bengals end up making it to the playoffs, I don't think
he wants to see anybody in his division in the playoffs.
That's my point. You said, listen, we can move on after that because that was basically my that was my point. Let's go ahead. So who we got next? Who do we say? All right, we're gonna go with my Colts and the Browns.
That was a heartbreaker.
With what I would say, honestly, I do think that was the best game this weekend. That was the best game this weekend.
Yeah.
We got hosed, Joe, and I'm gonna be honest with you. We got hosed. And did you see it?
On the PI?
But no, it was even before that. They said it was defense. They said it was defensive holding, and basically like the guy made a move and went out. And he held him here, but he went out and he didn't interfere with it. Like technically, if you want to just be technical, and act like holding defensive holding is holding, okay. But if we're gonna go on an every play thing, then we got to throw a flag on every play.
Right.
That is not defensive holding, and we actually got a strip sack and we recovered the fumble, and we was actually supposed to win the game right there. Then the defensive pass interference happened in the back of the end zone, and I'm like, that was nonsense. But
I always hated when refs are dictating the game.
what
At
like
the
do
end
you
of the
not wonder
game,
what this check somebody need to go check which one Pat McAfee on his show. He was talking, he was like,
right.
somebody need to don't just look at his bank account, look at his wives, his kids, his brothers, his cousins, his mother. Somebody got
It was
money
a
on this
horrible call. It
and
was
that
a
was a
horrible
horrible
call.
call. Either way. But like this game, one of the things, this was a throwback game. People was getting carted out of this game. This reminded me of like that 2000s. Remember like the Ravens in 2000? It was like, now
The Ravens Steelers, yeah.
somebody's not coming back on the field. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we know this, prepare for it. Uh, but Deshaun Watson started the game. He only got like 5 passes in, and then he got hurt. But Philip Walker was 15 of 32 for 178 yards, no touchdowns, and a pick. And Deshaun Watson also had a pick. Oh, also forgot the score. The final score: the Browns did beat my Colts 39-38. Joshua Ford was 11 carries for 74 yards and 1 touchdown. He actually got hurt too. Kareem Hunt had 2 touchdowns. And Elijah Moore led them with 4 receptions for 59 yards, but they didn't have a touchdown in the air. My Colts, Gardner Minshew was 15 of 23 for 305 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. Jonathan Taylor had 18 carries for 75 yards and a touchdown, and Gardner Minshew also had 2 rushing touchdowns. Joshua Downs, who's starting to come into the fray now, and I'm actually loving this, is 5 receptions for 125 yards, 1 touchdown, and Michael Pittman Jr. had 2 receptions for 83 yards and a touchdown. Go ahead, unpack this game. We already started unpacking it, but go ahead and unpack this.
I mean, at the end of the day, the ref screwed it. I mean, that's all there is to that. It was a hard fought game. One, Myles Garrett isn't human. Let's just. I know we said earlier, our defensive player of the year. We were talking TJ, but no one's ever repeated in the last 5-6 years.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Myles is playing out of his mind right now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, two strip sacks, one's for a TD, jumps on the line to block a field goal. I mean, the man was going stupid.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Browns may have the best defense in the league.
They might. There's a stat that basically proves they might have the best defense since like 1962.
But at each level, you know what I mean? Like from Denzel Ward up to Miles, up to the linebackers, like you got a monster almost at every single level, and they're playing like it. It's just you have, sadly, Deshaun Watson, who y'all gave a guaranteed $250 million to. So you have to play him. You got to play him. But PJ's playing as good as him, if not better.
I feel bad about that because I'm like, yeah, I think it's done. Like, you gotta get rid of him. But like, I love Deshaun Watson. You know what I mean? And I don't see where he hasn't had a good game. I think he's had like one good game as a Browns quarterback, like one good game.
Yeah. I don't. And that's what I'm saying. PJ, who they're playing $200 million less, is playing just as good.
Yeah. So yeah. So like,
and on the Colts side, I think that was the best defense I've seen them play all year. Physically speaking.
No, like we played because remember we played against Lamar and we beat the Ravens too.
Yes, you beat the Ravens, but I'm talking about like the physicality of it. Like they were flying around, they was knocking helmets off, they was getting after the ball, like they were playing. Buckner was going wild.
We was knocking him out. So so that's what it is. All right, cool. I mean, I suppose, I'm not happy about what happened. I mean, like, technically speaking, I don't think we're supposed to be as good even as we are. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we're competing against teams and beating teams that we're like, You know what I mean? Like if you look at the record,
Yeah.
like okay, yeah.
You got some wins you probably shouldn't have, and some losses that you shouldn't have. But like, yeah,
But like no, we don't have a loss we shouldn't have had. We have losses that's like when you look at the record, it's like, yeah, that record's supposed to be better than the Indianapolis Colts, you know? So it is what it is. But in the upset of the week, and this is when another one I had to throw this on. This is the Vikings beat the San Francisco 49ers 22-17. Out of this world. Brock Purdy was 21 of 30 for 272 yards, one touchdown, two picks. Christian McCaffrey only had 45 yards rushing, but he had a touchdown. And George Kittle led them with 5 receptions for 78 yards. And McCaffrey had the receiving touchdown as well. Kirk Cousins was 35 of 45 for 378, two touchdowns and one pick. Not much on the ground. The leading rusher only had 39 yards rushing. But Jordan Addison had 7 receptions, 123 yards, two touchdowns. And TJ Hawkinson had 11 receptions for 86 yards. What the hell just happened there?
I I think that loss last week rolled over into this week for the Niners
Like,
because they
yeah,
shouldn't have lost last week
exactly.
either.
You lose and like you're supposed to be angry. Like if it's one thing you bet on is the good team coming against the bad team and saying,
They
"Oh,
lost and they're
lost,
mad.
but we're gonna beat you. We're gonna beat up on you," and they lose again.
I think Brock Purdy is becoming human because when he came in at the end of last
I think he
year,
is who he's somebody I would say he is who I thought he was.
well, yeah, I mean, he was Mr. Irrelevant, so there's a reason he was drafted where he was. But like for the first 12 games of his career, he only lost one game, and that was in the playoffs. So obviously you're hype about him, you know what I mean? But I think slowly we're starting to see that okay, there's a reason he was drafted 263rd.
Yeah,
You know
because
what I
he's
mean?
getting more responsibility. It's like you remember for that stretch where Baker Mayfield with the Browns, he looked like his numbers were terrible. And it was passing the ball. And then they decided, oh, I'm gonna hand the ball off and give you one read routes, and stuff like that. And it's like then his numbers were like amazing. It's like because he don't have to do anything. And I'm just saying, and this
Simplifying it.
simplified. It was so simplified. And I'm saying with this much talent, yes, an average quarterback can look better with this much talent. In San
Yeah,
Francisco,
absolutely.
but when you look at him and say, I need you to, be greater or be the better
I
quarterback.
need you to
I
go
don't
win the
think
game. I need you to go win the game.
I need you to go win the game, or I need you to just be the better quarterback for us to win. And every time that
Don't
happens,
turn the ball over. Yeah.
he has not done that.
And that's what I feel like. I feel like the last week's game, that loss that everyone was like, oh, wow, rolled right into this one.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And so now, to your point, just like with the Lions, it wasn't a blowout, but now it's like, yo, they were talking about us being one of the best teams of all time 2 weeks ago because of how we were playing.
Mm-hmm.
5 straight wins, 5 straight blowouts. Now we just took 2 losses. We need to go back to the drawing board everywhere. We need to revamp this. We need to, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we're going to a
Absolutely.
4-3.
Absolutely.
Maybe our defense is a 4-3 down. Maybe we need to simplify it back down for him to where he got 2-3 reads. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Or easier routes and hand it off and dumping the ball off to Christian McCaffrey. Get me.
Listen, those are runs just as easy. McCaffrey 2-3 yards away from you. That's the same thing as a run.
Absolutely.
You're just doing it a little
Absolutely.
different.
Absolutely. So I think, but I do think people got on the hype train with Brock Purdy so much that it was just like, oh, he's like I heard Tom Brady like so many times about what it is that he's doing, and I'm not saying that people thought that he was the next Tom Brady or that's what it was, but I'm like, there's nothing about what he's doing that's like Tom Brady. Tom Brady took less talent and produced more. The talent on this team is outrageous.
Listen, I could be pretty good right now as the 49ers quarterback. Right now. Haven't played sports like that in years. I could walk out there and probably be pretty decent. Give me a couple reads.
You said it too. You said it. I didn't say that.
Hey, listen, give me a couple reads. You know I know football. What's the play? He's running here. He's running here. Man, I feel like it's too much. I feel like, to your point, there's so much talent, and the ball has to get to so many different people that they were like, all right, let's open up the playbook because you've now started 10 games for us, and you've only lost one. You know what I mean? You've only lost one. So let's open it up. Let's spread it out for you. And then all of a sudden in the game,
that's the problem.
Oh, okay.
You find out.
And then before you know it,
that. He can't do the things you never asked him to do because you never asked him to do it. And now that you think he can't, oh no, yeah. Bro, I couldn't have said it any better myself. So like when people say Tom Brady, I'm thinking more like Baker Mayfield with him.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? But people said, and I'm not saying it
in a good system, he can look good. In a good system, Brock Purdy can look like a top 10 quarterback. He's in a good system right now.
If I don't ask him to do a lot, he can look great. If I ask him,
you have a safety valve in your tight end. Huh? You have wide receivers that can go, and you have a running back that can get you 5-6 yards, and you have a top 3 defense. All you have to do, to your point, not go win me the game. Don't mess up. Don't turn the ball over. Don't get us in bad field position, and we can make it happen.
Yeah, like let's not. That's what I'm saying. God, Daniel, I need you on this show more often, man. Because they just be talking this stuff, and I'll be like, why are y'all so big on him? Like, can we relax? But I digress.
Listen, give him this full season as a starter, and you're going to see what I think me and you know. He is an average quarterback. He is Kirk Cousins. He is, you know what I'm saying? Like, he going to get you some wins. He might get you to the playoffs. He's not Jimmy Garoppolo. He might get you to the playoffs. He's not taking you to the mountaintop. You know what I'm saying?
Unless
he doesn't have that skill set.
Unless you say I absolutely do not need him to, and I have a game plan that says that I won't look at him to do that.
Yeah, but that's not Kyle Shanahan. He is a quarterback kind of coach where he needs you to put up 40 passes and 400 yards and 3 TDs and stuff. So that's what his offensive build around.
And I know it's not going to happen. I'm 100% sure it's not going to happen. 49ers need to try to get Kirk Cousins, and that would be the guy that would be more suited to doing what lifted.
He's more consistent.
You know what I mean? But now, first of all, the first segment that was heat right there. Now we're about to move into something. You know, let me just say this, Daniel. In the beginning of the season, I mean, it's not just us, so don't let nobody make you feel bad about it. Everybody thinks a certain amount of teams they're going to be something. They be like, oh, yeah, this team's going to be something. And then you start looking, and we almost halfway through it, and these teams are like below 500 or 500. And we're like, how did we get there? So I just want to know, are these teams able to be saved, or is it a wrap for the season? You see what I'm saying?
Before we jump in, is a wrap no playoffs? Is that what we're talking?
A wrap would be no playoffs. Okay.
All right.
And I'll even let you go even further. We didn't even talk about this. So if basically it's like no playoffs and they need to break down their whole situation and start over or something like that, you can go into that too. And we ain't even talk about that. That wasn't even in the notes. You feel me?
Just add it in.
All right. Let's start with the Chargers. Is it over for them? Is it a wrap for them? Or can they rebound this year and get back in it?
I certainly think they can rebound this year because I told you our last time, I like Justin Herbert.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's a heck of a quarterback, and I think he has a pretty good wide receiver core with him. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, he's going to run into the Chiefs and the Niners and stuff like that. So I think they can bounce back. I think they can come out with like a 9-10 win season, get in as a wild card or something.
9 or 10 win season, you see for them. That would mean
They've been in every game. They was in the Chiefs game until the defense took over.
So all right, so that would mean that they only lost 3 more games the whole year, and they right now they're 2-4. I think it's a wrap for the Chargers. I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't think they were going to the playoffs anyway. Once again, we talked about it. When you look at them on paper, this is a Super Bowl roster.
Yes.
The GM did his job. Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you.
He gave you the pieces.
He gave you the pieces. The culture is off, and it's been off, and somehow with the Chargers, it always seems to get off. Go ahead.
I do think some of it has to do with the Chargers, like the Giants and the Jets. The Chargers and the Rams have the same stadium. I think you got to get your own stuff. I think that's part of it. You just had the Rams win it. What, 2 years ago, 3 years ago?
Uh-huh. 2 years ago. 2 years ago.
So this is my house. Yeah, we share. This is my house. I won. That's my banner hanging up.
You ain't got
in the rafter. You ain't got no banners. You need your own spot. It's the same way I feel about the Giants and the Jets. You know what I'm saying?
Disagree. I don't disagree with that. Now, but once again, when you talk about the Super Bowl, they got a Super Bowl roster. I think it's more likely that the Jets go to the playoffs than the Chargers.
I think the Jets have probably a top 5 defense. Is why.
But what I'm saying is, I think it's more likely. I'd be less surprised that the Jets made it to the playoffs than the Chargers making it to the playoffs.
I agree with you because of what you said about Miami earlier. If you can get them out of their rhythm and get them to play your style, you can beat Miami.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't nobody worried about the Patriots in that division. You know what I'm saying?
They didn't make the notes on this one. I'm gonna tell y'all the truth.
You know what I'm saying? Like they just won their first game at like 5. So like the Jets absolutely can make the playoffs still.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So yeah, actually, so I didn't even tell you this. So here in New York, there's more Jets fans. And Jets ain't going to the playoffs either. Okay, let me just start there. But I bet them. I bet one person. I bet one of my neighbors. A gentleman's bet. It was lunch. And then I bet another one a whole bottle of tequila, and I said, "Boy, it's gonna be a good winner, boy. I tell you, good winner. I'm gonna be full and I'm gonna be drunk. You know,
I'm gonna be happy."
All right, moving on. Actually, I want to skip to a team that wasn't next per se, but let's talk about my Colts.
Yeah, because their division, they're fine. Their division is trash.
So you think the Colts are going to go to the playoffs?
I think they absolutely can. Listen, I know your brother's going to say, I still have no faith in the Jags. And that whole division is terrible. But, I know what CJ Stroud is doing. I know what the Titans are trying to do.
So right now, like we're 2 games behind the Jags.
The Jags, yeah.
And they swept us. So for us to catch them, we got to be 1 game better. Because if it's a tie, they win. You know what I mean?
Right. Oh yeah, I get it. I don't feel like it's over. Too early in the season to say it's over in that division. You know what I mean?
Really, I kind of think I don't have the feeling that this is gonna go. You know,
listen, I mean, in all due respect, no, I don't think they're going to, because
you're just saying it's not over yet.
Correct.
But
that's what I'm saying.
Okay. So yeah, I'm just going to be more egregious, even with my own team. Yeah, I love them to death, but I don't think playoffs is happening this year. Yeah, Gardner Minshew, we're going to have a mismatch at quarterback every time that we pretty much play anybody. You know, I do. Like I said, I would like us to. So in this trading deadline, I would actually like us to see because like the Patriots, excuse me. No, not the Patriots. The Broncos are trying to ship Jerry Jeudy and or Patrick Surtain.
Because that's the problem with the Broncos.
The point that I'm making is, if we can get one of those 2 pieces, you know, I would feel better.
Jeudy on the other side of Moss, yeah.
Yeah, we would have Jeudy, we'd have Michael Pittman Jr., and then we'd have young boy, Josh
The
Downs.
rookie.
Then we'd have
Downs,
Josh
yeah.
Downs. And then we'd have Alec Pierce be the fourth. You know what I mean? That's fine. You know what I mean? But yeah, I would absolutely. I would actually be a little bit more excited about that too. And I also like. I told you I like wide receiver cores that doesn't have a top wide receiver. You know what I mean?
Everybody just plays a part. No, listen, the Colts, similarly to the Chargers, have a Super Bowl caliber type on paper,
Now Chargers got a way better roster right now.
but
Today,
they don't have the quarterback.
no. What I'm saying,
The,
what I'm saying is when you look at position to position, offensive line that might be a wash, or the Chargers might have a slight edge today. When you talk about like pass rushers or defensive ends, like their pass rushers are better than our pass rushers. When
you
you
think
talk,
so?
yeah, Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa is better than I can't even pronounce his name right now.
Buckner?
No, not Buckner. I was thinking of while we're finding it, our defensive ends. Now, I think we're better than them at like linebacker, and I don't think that really matters in the NFL anymore. But I think cornerback. While we had a rookie quarterback to be our number one cornerback, so you know what I mean. We'll see how that turns out. I mean, once again, next year that might be something, but this year, yeah,
That's why I said on paper.
wide
On
receivers.
paper.
You know what I'm saying? Wide receivers, their wide receivers are better than our wide receivers today. You know what I mean? Tight end, I don't know.
That's if any wide receiver though, that's mostly just because of Keenan Allen, and he's just a monster.
Yeah, Keenan Allen is a problem.
He's, you know what I mean? Like that's just because of him by himself. That's not even the whole core.
Yeah, so I think the Chargers have a considerably better roster, but like I said, I think they have a considerably better roster than the Jets too, and I think they have a considerably better roster, to be honest with you, than the Ravens, and I think they have a considerably better roster. Like I think they have a great.
So what we're saying is it's the coaching.
Yeah.
If you got all them pieces, it's the coaching.
Yeah, I do, and I think this offseason Staley got to go.
Yeah, there's a couple coaches around the league need to go. Position coaches.
So I think it is Staley. I think he need to go. So that's that. All right, moving on. Let's go to the Bengals. Is it a wrap for the Bengals?
Yeah.
So it's a wrap for the Bengals. So there's no playoffs for the Bengals.
You just paid this man more money than any quarterback has ever had before, and he ain't been healthy since day one. And y'all should have kept him out to get healthy so that you could come in week 4 or 5, you know what I mean? Healthy Joe Burrow and make a real run at it.
Mm-hmm.
But he's been so banged up all year. I mean, no, especially in that division with those defenses. You probably have 3 of the top, 15 defenses that he plays against 6 times.
Yeah, I was looking at their schedule and I was just going to read off their schedule. So the Bengals this week they got the Niners.
Well,
yeah, because they lost to it. Well, I mean they lost to the Vikings. Don't just say it's an L for the Bengals.
But to your point, but now they pissed.
Oh, now they pissed. They was okay. All right. So then the next week at home they got Buffalo. They've had Buffalo's number. They've had Buffalo's number. They're not dropping.
Healthy Joe Burrow has had Buffalo's number.
They're not dropping both of them games. I'm gonna tell you the truth. They're not dropping both of them games. So then they got the Texans. Then they got the Ravens, who once again. So I think once again, the Texans they can beat. Ravens in their division, they're going to drop one. They're going to win one. The Steelers, they should drop one to the Steelers, but they should win one with the Steelers. They got the Jags. That's an interesting game that's going to happen. Then they got the Colts. I think that's a win for the Bengals. They got the Vikings. I think that's a win for the Bengals. And they got the Chiefs and the Browns. Did they lose to the Browns earlier in the season?
Yes.
Yes, they did. And they're going to need that game. So I think that's a win for them too. So I'm looking at the Bengals. I'm saying they're probably going to lose to the Chiefs. They're probably going to lose to the Chiefs.
Listen, I heard 3 more wins. All them names you rattled off.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I see 6 wins.
So you see them getting 9 wins this year?
9 to 10, yeah.
if Joey B's healthy, I can agree with you 100%. I think he's that good. He has not been healthy at any point
Well, it
this
was a
year.
calf strain. It takes a second to heal up. I mean, it's not going to stay.
I don't disagree with that, but that's why I said he should have been kept out for that first month to get healthy so that you can make this playoff kind of run. You know what I'm saying? If you just sit there getting beat up week in and week out because he has been getting beat up,
Yeah, and I
you
got
ain't
saying that too. But yeah, I mean, I've gone on this show and said that I'm tired of seeing Joe Burrow get beat up like that.
getting just assaulted. Like they
Yeah.
spending all this money on
He
like
should.
we're spending hundreds of millions of dollars on our offensive line. Then block somebody. Block somebody.
Now he should file a police report on what was going on with him. That just wasn't nice at all. But like I said, yeah, man, absolutely. I can see him winning 6 games and a potential of 7. I don't know if they don't sweep the Steelers. I don't know. You know?
Well, sadly, the Steelers
And I
one of
don't
those
know, and I
positions.
don't know if they'll beat the Jags. I don't know. I don't know what that game looks like. You know what I mean? But
Like I said, if we start seeing Joey B get healthy, I agree with you. 9, 10 games for sure. I believe he is that good of a quarterback. I believe he is the quarterback like we were talking about earlier. Hey man, go win us a game.
all right. So I will say the next 2 weeks for me is everything. If they drop the games to the Niners and the Bills, I will agree with you that they're done. I don't think they're going to drop. I think they're going to lose one of the two. And
You think you're gonna win one of them?
Yep.
Where are they at, on the road or at home?
The Niners is in San Fran and Buffalo's in Cincinnati.
Okay. Yeah, maybe the Bills game.
I
But for me, that all falls on Josh Allen, who can give you 3 touchdowns or throw 5 picks. Like you don't know what you're getting with Josh Allen sometimes.
I understand. But yeah, I'm not saying I'm not selling that stock yet. I'm still looking at Cincinnati as
Hey,
a playoff team. As a playoff team, yes.
hey, fair enough. Like I said, that's a tough division, and the Browns are coming.
Them Browns ain't going nowhere, man. I'm not going. I'm not with this at all. Okay. Matter of fact, I'm about
Number
tired of
one
hearing about the
defense.
Browns and stuff like that. Bro, they're gonna lose a lot of these games down the
Yeah,
stretch. They're
and it's
gonna
gonna
lose
be like
a lot of
13 to it's gonna be like 13-10,
probably
7-6, because
probably
that defense ain't giving up nothing, and the offense can't
probably.
score. But it's gonna be beautiful.
But they still gonna I'm not with like no, I don't think I don't think the Browns are winning 6 games down the stretch. No, I don't. So then this team I left last because I feel like me and you were the only 2 people that said that they were going to be good. Because everybody else never said it. But the Saints, we both agreed that they were a dark horse. We both said that they were the dark
Yeah.
team, and I was like, "Ugh, that looks bad." I even had an argument. Before I get to that, let me ask you a quick question. If you you got your franchise, you got Kirk Cousins and you got Derek Carr. Who would you choose?
Kirk Cousins.
You would choose Kirk Cousins? I would choose Derek Carr. Okay, so me and Jamal talked about that at the end of the episode, and he's going to be upset about that. I would choose Derek Carr.
I say Kirk Cousins just because of the consistency. I know what I'm getting. Derek Carr is a wild card.
He's a wild card.
You saw it in Vegas. You see it now. Kirk Cousins, I know what I'm getting. I'm getting this. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting steady.
But sometimes it's down here, and then when you need him to do something, it gets down here. So he's consistent until you really need him. Then it's down.
And like you said, to your point, you coach around that. You know what I'm saying? You coach around that. I don't leave it in your hands.
You're right. But Derek Carr is a carrier, and he's carried rosters. And I like that attribute as a quarterback more than a guy who's just like this and drops. If he stayed like this the whole time, I'd say okay. But he drops too.
Yes, on prime time usually. And the only reason I like Kirk Cousins and him staying in that steadiness is because if you build properly around him, that is, you don't notice this. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Yes. And you have a carrier, Derek Carr, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes. When they mess up, your whole team is done. You can't do nothing.
This is why I'm saying that's better. You asking Derek Carr to do more than Kirk Cousins, and it's like not being talked about. That's why I would choose, like, if Derek Carr could get in a situation where they could dumb it down for him too, he That would be a Super Bowl looking quarterback. A carrier who has it dumbed down for him? Come on.
Yeah.
I would choose Derek Carr, and I don't even think it's close, to tell you the truth. But the Saints, yes, going back to them. We thought
The Aints.
were dark horse.
Well, because the division, it's just the
horse?
division was so bad. You know what I mean?
Yes. If the division was good, it would be a wrap. Absolutely.
The division is just so bad. I mean, the Falcons are leading the division at 4-3.
Mhm.
They didn't play Bijan last week,
Mhm.
and no one knows why. They're like basically being investigated for it. Like, why didn't he play? Oh, he didn't feel good. You have to tell us that before the game starts. You know that, right?
He had to be like, nah. He got locked. He's locked his keys in his car. That's not a
Right.
He
He left
locked
his
his car.
Hey, he left his cleats at the house. And
You
his
feel
mom
me?
didn't want to turn around. His mom said he wouldn't turn around. So
He said he had the bubble guts, and he said this may not be the best day. You feel me?
like, yeah, this is so you know what I mean. It's such a terrible division. You got the Bucks. You know what I mean? Like some games they look like they could be good with Baker. You're like, okay, Baker, get another chance. And then they play another game, you're like, okay, you guys are bad. So as far as the Saints, I mean, I'm gonna say, yeah, they still have a chance just because the division is so bad, man.
Okay.
To your point, Derek Carr could catch fire and win the next 3 or 4 against them and be leading the division.
So I'm looking at the rest of their schedule. Not that it matters because it's like they lost to who thought that, and they lost to the Texans, and I thought for sure they was going to beat the Texans. You know what I mean? They also lost to the Packers, and I thought for sure they was going to be the Packers too. So I mean that goes with a grain of salt. But their remaining schedule is this week. They got the Colts in Indy, and honestly, we're a bad home team. Like all of our wins are like on the road.
That is crazy. They're not that good at home.
Bad home team. How?
If
How?
nothing else, win at home. Like
I'm comfortable. This is what I wanted. Like, and then whatever. So they got the Colts, then they got the Bears, then they got the Vikings, then they got the Falcons, then they got the Lions, then they got the Panthers, then they got the Giants, they got the Rams, they got the Bucks again, and they lost to the Bucks already, and they got the Falcons to finish out the season.
I mean, do any of those teams have a winning record? You know what I mean?
The Bucks are 500 right now. The Lions do.
So I think the Lions are the only one you named off with a winning record.
Yeah.
So you're talking. That's why I'm not counting them out because that division is terrible, and they're playing nobody.
Right. So like for me, I'm still gonna look at them and I'm still gonna say they're gonna win the division and be in the playoffs.
Listen, it's very feasible with the way that division is.
I still think they have the best quarterback in their division, and that is an advantage for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
The Bucks are playing here, but they're actually more like here. So you know what I mean. And I don't think the Falcons. Listen, the Falcons are not going to.
They don't know what they're doing. They're
going to drop. They're going to fumble this. You know what I mean?
They fumbled it 3 times in the end zone last week. So 3 times, not once. It didn't happen one time. It happened 3 times. So yeah, they're gonna fumble it.
So that's here nor there. So okay. All right, so we both agree. We still like the Saints. Okay, we still listen. And when it happens, hold on. And when it happens, America, I don't want to hear that I just said it because I've been saying it since the summertime. Okay,
they're gonna be 9-7, and they're gonna be division winners.
You feel me? Like stop. Like no, 7-9 in division winners. Let's go back to like the Seahawks. But
right?
They gonna do it. All right, cool. All right, let's get closer to closing this thing out. All right, week 8 games. Let's talk about it. First game, Bills Bucks. I still got to put the Bucks in there. I just want to say this first. I still got to put the Bucks in there because technically they're a relevant team. But I absolutely, positively feel like the Bills are about to win this game, and it might be convincingly, but I don't know.
Yeah, I take the Bills in that.
Okay, that's pretty much
the Bills have looked. They got to get it together if they want to stay in that conversation with the Chiefs, because that's what everybody's chasing. They got to get it together. This is a must-win kind of weekend.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, cool. Next, we got Steelers Jags.
Mm. To your, like you said it. I mean, you don't know what you're getting with the Jags, but the Steelers, Canada, the offense coordinator for the Steelers needs to be fired or drawn and quartered or something. The man does not know what he's doing.
Right, right, right.
You have too many weapons. You have too many weapons to be scoring so little. But I mean, is it on the road for the Jags?
It's in Pittsburgh.
I'm gonna take Pittsburgh.
I'm gonna take. I thought you was going. I thought you were gonna go over there, but no, I'm taking Pittsburgh too. It feels like the kind of game that Pittsburgh can. This can be ugly, and I feel like that's the game Pittsburgh wants it to be.
They want it ugly.
They want it to be ugly. I want. Let's hand it off 40 times. Like the tight ends. I'm not even throwing it to the wide receivers except deep to George Pickens, which George Pickens, man, I'll tell you what, boy.
Hey.
They're good at Georgia again. You see what I'm saying?
Hey.
Georgia.
Hey, they're everywhere, baby.
But yeah, I just think they're gonna physical. I think this game can be very physical, and I don't think the Jags want to play a physical game.
No. I know Trevor Lawrence doesn't. He's not trying to get hit and
I like Trevor. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. I like Trevor. It's just I just don't think they want that physical for 4 quarters kind of game. And I'm like, Pittsburgh is like, that's the only way we win.
That's what they know. Like, we'll win this game 6-3 and walk out of here with 3 less players than we started. We don't care.
All right, cool. All right, so hanging on for dear life here, Saints versus Colts. What you got?
I'm gonna take the Saints. I mean, to your point, I've been here long enough to know. Yeah, but ever since I call it the Peyton curse. Ever since they cut Peyton, nothing good's been going good for them. And winning that,
I mean, we had luck. Don't do that. We had luck, okay? But he got
hurt. You had Andrew Luck, and they let that man get sacked like 60 times a year.
This is why I'm saying everything I'm saying about Joe Burrow. Like, can you please get him some? Like, have you not seen this before? You do not let him get hit this much. I don't care. And Andrew Luck likes getting hit, and he still is like, all right, I'm done with
you. Know what? I want to talk when I'm older, so yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and retire. I want to hold my baby with both arms.
I want to be able to do this when I'm old. Yeah. So, that's it. So
I don't want to be like Muhammad Ali, so I'm gonna dip out.
Right now, I'm not on pace for that, so I'm gonna like stay home now.
Listen, it makes no sense to me. I watched every year when he came in. I'm like, that dude is a generational talent, and then I'm like, why won't you protect him? Like, just listen. Here's the thing. Even if you're the offensive lineman and you can't block, just hold somebody. Get a flag every play. Protect that man.
Yeah, I think I still look at that when he went to the AFC Championship game. I know we got blew up by New England, but can we talk about the job of what he was carrying? Like, it was like there was no defense, there was no pass rush. There was no pass rush. Absolutely.
No.
There was no run stopping defense. There was no running game. Like, there was no pass blocking.
It was just Andrew Luck.
And he went to the AFC Championship game. That is an all-time, like, and that goes way under the radar. You know what I mean? So it is what it is.
So no, I don't think they can win at home. I'm taking the Saints.
Got you. So then we're gonna go Browns Seahawks. This game is just so you can see it. This game is in Seattle.
I like the Seahawks.
I do too.
I don't have the trust for Deshaun that I used to.
Yeah, I don't think that they're gonna put enough points up to.
Again, like I said, because of their defense, it's going to be like 16-10, 13-7.
But Seattle might catch fire. Seattle's that team that might catch fire, and it might be like 24-10. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure. It's not going to be anything like high scoring at all. But I see Seattle winning. I mean, because they have a home field advantage.
Not for nothing, my coach did put up 38 on this defense. I'm just letting you know that happened.
Oh, absolutely.
I just wanted you to know that happened. Well, that's it. But no, that's cool. And then we got Bengals 49ers. And whoever loses this game, we're gonna have a lot of conversation. They're gonna have a lot of conversation about them.
Have to. I don't see the Niners losing 3 in a row. And it's in San Francisco, right?
Yes, and it's in San Francisco.
Yeah, I can't. I mean, I don't see them losing 3 in a row. Because if they do that, yes, there are going to be major conversations that we got to have.
Yeah.
The level of weaponry that they have, you can't lose 3 games in a row. You can't lose another game for like another 7 or 8 games if you're legit, if you're the 49ers. I know that's a staggering thing to ask of a team, but you might not be able to lose again until the end of the season when you're resting your starters because you already made the playoffs as a 1-2 seed.
Before I make that, I just wanted to see what what their record was in conjunction with the Seahawks. All right, they both lost 2 games. So the Seahawks would. I'm gonna be honest with you. There's a part of me that really does think the Bengals are gonna win this game, and
Really?
it's because they don't have pressure on them this game. I think there's major conversations that rightfully so should be made if they don't win, but the 49ers just lost 2 straight games,
Yeah.
one to a bad team. So I think they got pressure. Like they feel like they gotta play a certain way. You know what I mean? You know what? I'm not scared. My mama, Pam ain't never raised no punk. I'm going with the Bengals. Let's go. Let's go. Bengals. I'm going with it.
Bengals on the road.
On the road. You know what? You lose to the Vikings like that, and Kirk Cousins show you up. I want to hear this, yo. Nah, forget.
To your point, you're either going to see a massacre or you're going to see the Bengals pull out a gutsy win.
Listen,
that's the only 2 things I'm seeing.
Oh, I do know the Bengals got to play a certain way. They got to hand the ball off. They got to do shorter. You know what I mean?
Get that clock moving a little bit faster.
Yeah, you don't get my man hit 8, 9, and 10 times. You know they're linebacker.
You let Joey Bosa and them dudes start going off, and
Nick.
it's over. Nick Bosa, sorry.
Okay.
And it's over. You know what I'm saying? You let him get 1 or 2 sacks and a couple of tackles for losses. All of a sudden,
but the Bengals have a good defense. Do you understand? Y'all we acting like the Bengals defense is like some kind of slouch or something. Like, nah, they got a legit defense, and they
no. But who do you go?
And hold on, and they're looking at Brock Purdy, and they're like, okay,
they want to feast.
We kind of know how to get to you, and if we can disrupt you, we may not have to disrupt these other weapons as bad. We're not, it's not stopping the weapons that messes you up. It's stopping you.
Yeah, no, 100%. And hopefully, if anything, to your point, they've dumbed the offense down. You know what I mean? Because you have Christian McCaffrey behind you, or you can send him out. You have Deebo Samuel, who does everything. You got Ayuk on the outside. You have probably the number 2, number 3 tight end. Like, you shouldn't lose this game. That's all I'm saying. Regardless of what the defense you're playing against, you shouldn't lose this game at home with what you have.
I agree.
Now, can they? Yes. But like I said, it's either going to be a gutsy Bengals win or the Niners are about to let loose and, let some frustration out.
Okay. Well, like I said, I'm glad that my mama got a shout out on this episode. Pam ain't raised no punk, okay?
No, sir.
Let's name this. That's going to be the title of this episode. Pam ain't raised no punk.
Pam ain't raised no punk.
All right, cuz, well, I think we're going to wrap this up. You always bring heat every time. And I don't know if you saw the reel that we did when I just basically said, gave thanks to like everybody that has transitioned from what the show was to what it is now and the success that we're having right now. But like, you are definitely one of those people that saved my ass. And like, I will come do your show, Tariq. Okay. And I want to thank you for that.
Hey, happy to, man. Happy to.
So once again, everybody, you can check us out. Check us out Spotify, YouTube for the full episodes. Look at us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Man, we all over the place. Daniel,
Worldwide.
once again, cuz I just want you to know, cuz you don't know football.
Hey.